For Honor's a game that's been released for almost 7 years now. People don't like it. In fact, most of the community, at least from what I found, hates it with a passion. And so a lot of people are wondering why it's still getting updates to this day and why the player base hasn't dropped and it still stayed the same if everybody that plays it doesn't like it. Now, there could be multiple reasons for this. One of them is it's a joke to not like the game at this point. If you look at a lot of Steam reviews, a lot of people rate it 10 out of 10 or very liked, and then in the comment they say that they hate it, or they rate it negatively and say that it's the best game ever. Another reason could be that a lot of people in the game impose tactics that a lot of other people really don't like. For instance, light spamming, which if you're new, that means that you press the light button over and over again, and it's pretty much if you don't have the reaction time, there's no way to counter that. One of the things that I do that I know a lot of people don't like, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this if this does get a lot of views, is that I gank in Brawls. So that means that in the 2v2 matches, I will start attacking the enemy instead of it being two 1v1s. Because in my opinion, if you want to play 1v1s, go into 1v1s, right? So that just makes more sense to me, and I enjoy ganking in a 2v2 setting where it's not completely unfair because there's only two people and there's not four. And a lot of people get really upset at me whenever I do that because they want to have two 1v1s, right? But there's nothing they can do to stop me necessarily besides try and grief me, which is a whole nother issue in itself. So there's a lot of things that people can get mad at by just playing the game differently than what the other person wants to. And this can extend into hero choice. For instance, the character I'm playing in this clip right now is Kyoshin. He has a very defensive playstyle, and a lot of people really don't like that. They want to constantly be in the action, whereas he takes a more slow and methodical approach to it. On top of that, Kyoshin is not the only person to not be liked by the community or certain parts of it. There's also characters like Pirate. Pirate's really good, but also really easy to play. So a lot of people don't like whenever people do good with her, whenever really, they could just really like Pirates or like the way that she plays with her gun. And the last thing, the thing that probably people hate the most, is doing bad in games. For Honor is a game that takes a lot of skill in most of the instances and most of the fights that you get into. But whenever it feels like that you really should have won a fight and yet you still lose to what seems like to you luck, it's really frustrating because it feels like that you really should have won that fight. And so you blame it on the game instead of your personal, I guess, skill issue. Because of these issues, I find that a lot of the community has a love-hate relationship with the game. And so why don't we ask one of them? Here is my special guest, Dason. It's time, everybody, for Interview by the Fire. Alright, Dason, so I'm gonna ask you some questions real quick. Why do you like or dislike For Honor?
I like For Honor because of the satisfaction of killing the enemy team. You know, the blocking and the parrying and all that.
Yeah, so like the combat?
It's a different type of combat that I've never played before, so that's what makes it cool. And I dislike For Honor because it just makes me mad. I don't know. Every game makes me mad. All right? It's sometimes the game is unfair to you. Weird shit happens, and yeah, that pisses me off.
So could you say?
I hate myself. Oh my god.
Could you say it's maybe because you don't like the tactics that the enemies impose? For instance, light spamming or ganking whenever you don't want them to?
Oh, and I also hate Armusha players. Kill yourself.
Yeah, so you... So you also don't like the hero choice that they have. You don't like how they feel overpowered because of the heroes that they choose. So when you say that maybe you don't like it because it's your own fault and that you feel that you need to make up excuses for the tactics that you seem to be unfair? Think is unfair?
I just say just nerf that character and we're gonna. Oh my fucking god! Fuck off.
So
I just say
just
just nerf. Yeah, just nerf him and we're good.
it's just nerf Armusha in the game
Yeah,
of
just nerf
cards.
Armusha.
Okay.
Yeah, no nerf him.
Okay. Hold on. Let me.
Oh, and Pyre as well. Fuck Pyre.
Yep. All right. So would you say that you have a love-hate relationship with the game?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
It seems like that you enjoy it a lot of the time. You enjoy the mechanics, but you don't like the way that it's imposed.
I don't like the way sometimes people use the mechanics.
Yeah. So could you just get a confirmation that I did not tell you to say any of this?
You did not tell me.
All right. So I think that's proof enough. So to end off this interview, we're going to go over here and ask one final question. This is the last question. Is this your favorite map?
Oh, definitely not.
Wrong answer.
Oh no! No!
Now, whether you believe me or not, I actually did not tell him to say any of that. That was all his own thinking and what his opinions were on why he didn't like the game and did like it at the same time, because he does have a love-hate relationship of it. So I think we've pretty much confirmed that those are the reasons why people don't like, but like For Honor at the same time. Now, you may think that this is actually fairly harmless, it's just a community meme at this point, but I think it actually is, and it does hurt the game. Whenever people look at interviews for the Steam, or even Xbox or online, they're going to see a ton of people saying that they hate the game, but they also like it at the same time. They're not going to understand that because they don't actually play it. So there's two things that we can do to fix this. We can either grow up as a community and say, hey, a lot of us do like this game. We all still play it. No matter what comes out, we're not going to stop playing this. Because if you look at the Steam charts and all of the player counts, it's pretty much the same. It hasn't gone up or down for the past few years, which is crazy to me. So we can all admit that, or they can make the game free to play, which I think is also another great option for the type of game that this is. Nobody really wants to pay $8 for an experimental game that came out almost 7 years ago now, right? Nobody really wants to do that. And honestly, I can't blame them. The only reason why I started playing this game is because it was free for Xbox Gold way back when. It was also the same for PlayStation Plus. It was free if you had PlayStation Plus a while back. And that's how a lot of people got into the game. But the issue is now we're at a point where it isn't. It's no longer free on PlayStation Game Pass or Gold or Plus anymore. You actually have to spend money to buy the game. And I think most of the revenue that they're getting, it's not from the game, people purchasing the game, because obviously if it was, then more people would start playing the game. I think it's from people buying Steel, I think it's from people buying skins, and I think it's from mainly people buying heroes. That is how they're getting their main revenue. And I think if Ubisoft properly promoted the fact that this is going free to play, whenever, if, or it does, then it could actually do really well and could see a huge jump in population. But there is one secret third option, and that's to make a second For Honor. If we look at Overwatch 2, it's basically the same game. Let's be honest here. There's a lot of differences, and maybe you could say enough to warrant a sequel, but mainly that's all in the PvE section of the game, not the PvP. And that's what I kind of propose they try to do with For Honor. They re-release the game because we've seen with Overwatch that works. If you re-release the game, bring more hype from it, it's gonna do better. Somehow, some way, it's gonna stir up more about it. And then from there, all we need is story mode 2, We need to fix the balancing, even though it's not really that bad, but there's still a lot of things. Right? It's mainly budget. There's things that they cannot fix with the current engine and the way that it's currently run. For instance, removing reflex guard. There's nothing they can do about that, unless they would have done that a long time ago. And a lot of people don't realize that, because they would. I'm sure they hate reflex guard as much as we do, but they just cannot find a way to do that. And there's two issues there. It's one, budget. They can't hire engineers to try and find a way around it. And two, the type of way that it's run. And if they make a second one, then they could fix that. And they could fix all the issues with the game, and it could be a much more polished game. In the end, I think I made my case on why people like and dislike For Honor at the same time. If you have an issue with anything that I have said, or you disagree with me, let's have a very heated argument in the comment section. It boosts my viewership a lot whenever I interact with people and they interact with the video, which means that also liking it would definitely help out. I'm trying to get 1,000 subs because then I can start making money off of this, and that would be epic. Not even gonna lie, no cap. So you should definitely subscribe and get on your grandma's phone and subscribe, and get on your friend's phone and subscribe somehow, or your girlfriend. If you somehow manage to play For Honor and have a girlfriend, go ahead, go do that, please. Now, I am going to go enjoy hurting myself by playing this stupid game that everyone hates because people won't stop light spamming! Okay, have a great day.